that time, we were lying down inside the parlor, and I heard her shouting to those individuals.
So ñooñu ñëw taxaw ñu génnee ñu si kër bi dugal ñu si pick-up bi.
So those guys came and took us outside from the house onto the pickup.
So ñu yóbbu ñu Serekunda Health Center mooy lopitaan bu nekk gannaaw kër Halifa Sallah boori kër Halifa Sallah si boori Sandeka bi.
So they took us to the Serekunda hospital, that is the hospital behind.
Health Center la du hospital.
Took us to the health center, in Serekunda Health Center, the one behind Halifa Salah's residence.
So bu ñu yóbboo foofu noo si fa nekkoon ñu ne ñii seen condition mënuñoo nekk fii dañ leen war a refer.
So when we were taken there, the nurses on duty said that these individuals, their conditions are such that they cannot be here. They must be referred.
Si la nurse bi oo ambulance bi mu ñëw ñu eb ñu si.
So the nurse called for an ambulance which came, and we were taken on board.
While at the Serekunda hospital, did you see anyone that was injured from the incident that happened in the morning?
Ba ngeen eggee ci lopitaani Serekunda boobu ndax gisoon ngeen fa ñeneen ñoo xam ne ñoom itam dañ gaañu woon ci xew-xew boobu.
Déedéet si lopitaani Serekunda bi gisuma fa kenn ku gaañu.
No, at the Serekunda clinic, I did not see anyone who was injured.
ñoom dañ doon refer rek Banjul.
Because they were constantly referring people to Banjul.
dang day gis nit yi parents yi yaay yi ñu ngi ñëw di dugga si lopitaan bi di seet xam naa ne seen xale yi la ñoo seet.
You see people
di nga
coming
gis nit yi
in.
ñu ngi bari foofu waaye gisuma kenn ku gaañu.
See people coming in here, parents, mothers. I know they come to inquire about their loved ones. You see many people there, but I did not see anyone with injuries.
so léegi si lañ ñu yóbbu Banjul.
That was when we were taken to Banjul.
ñu àgga ñu wàcce ñu accident and emergency.
When we arrived, we were taken to the accident and emergency.
At what time did you arrive at the accident and emergency ward in Banjul?
Ban waxtu ngeen egga ci accident and emergency ward boobu nekk ci lopitaani Banjul.
loolu xam naa one day wala one person because seetuma one time waaye si lifin bi la ay one yooyu daal.
I think it will be
the
one
afternoon.
or after one in the afternoon. Although I did not check the time, but it would be around that time.
Can you please tell us what you could observe when you arrived at that place?
Ba nga eggee ca lopitaan ba ndax di ñu mun a wax lan nga fa seetlu.
man bu ma àggee si lopitaan bi dañu wàccee si stretcher bi ñu tëddal ñu si suuf.
When I got to the hospital, we were put on a stretcher and placed on the ground.
so parce que ñëpp ñu ngi tëdda si suuf foofu.
Because all were on the ground, lying on the ground.
xale yi gaañu ñu ngi foofu.
The students that were injured were there.
parents yi ñu ngi foofu hall bi mu ngi fees tepp.
The parents were there. The whole hall was packed.
so buñ ñu tëddalee foofu si suuf.
So when we laid there on the stretchers on the ground,
so rek yaagu rek Mbengue si sa jëkkëram ñoom.
not long after, Mbenga Sise's husband came in.
mu jël Mbengue mu ne gars yi ñu dimbale ko ñu teg ko si stretcher bi.
He took Mbenge and told them to assist him, put Mbenge on a stretcher.
nurse bi mu ne ko bàyyi ko fi dañ leen a treat mu ne ko déedéet dama ko yóbbu Lamtoro.
The nurse said to him, leave her here, we are going to treat her. And he said, no, I'm taking her to Lamtoro.
léegi si la ko nurse bi bàyyi mu jël Mbengue mu yóbbu ko.
That was when the nurse allowed him to take Mbenge away.
so man maa ngi tëdda si suuf foofu.
So I was lying there on the ground.
te suma jëkkër ñëw.
After that, my husband came.
At this point, because you've told us earlier that you didn't know the extent of Menge's injury, at this point before she went to Lamtoro, did you know the extent of her injury, where the stone hit her?
Waxoon nga ñu fi ne xamuloo Menge gaañoom bi fu mu toll waaye na jamono jooju nga xam ne ñu ngi ko doon yóbbu génnee ci lopitaan bi di ko yóbbu xamoon nga fan la gaañoom bi toll woo.
buñ ko génnee si lopitaan bi di ko yóbbu boobu sax waxut ak man waaye buñ ko discharge si lopitaan bi ñëw na mu seet si ma si lopitaan bi.
When they were taking her away from the hospital, she did not speak to me. But after she was discharged, she came to visit me.
And what did she tell you anything about her injury?
jamono jooju ndax wax na la dara lu aju ci gaañu gaañoom bi.
mu ne xeer bi daf ko dal si baatam bi fii.
She said the stone hit her at her neck.
Do you know if she had any complications as a result of that?
xam nga ndax amoon na dara lu ko daloon gannaaw gaañu gaañoom yooyu lan la ci sababoo. lan la ci faaxee ko.
No, she did not tell me. She did not tell me.
And can you tell us about your own condition then at the hospital?
dig ñu mun a wax nag yow ci sa bopp ci anam yi nga tollu woon ca lopitaan ba.
so man bu ma nekkee si lopitaan bi maa ngi si suuf foofu.
So while I was at the hospital on the ground there,
léegi suma jëkkër ñëw.
my husband came.
so bu mu ñëwee.
When he came,
because moom daf doon liggéey si lopitaan bi.
because he used to work at the hospital,
waaye bu loolu di xew fekk bàyyi na ba mu ngi si university bi di study medicine.
but by the time of that incident, he had left. He was studying at the university.
waaye am na nurse yu bari xàmmee nañ ko foofu.
But there were many nurses who knew him.
so mu ñëw rek gars yi ñu ne ko bitee lu xew mu ne suma jabar moo fi nekk.
So as he came in, they confronted him and said, "Bitte, what is the matter?" And he told them, "My wife is here."
so mu ñëw mu ne gars yi nañ doon nurse bi ñëw pour jox ma péngu.
So the nurse came to give me an injection.
mu ne ko non bul ko péngu kii mu ngi biir.
And he said to her, "No, don't inject her. She's conceived."
so si la nurse bi ne waaw kon léegi nañ ko yóbbu si kaw.
That was when the nurse said, "Well, now let's take her upstairs."
so bu mu waxee si kaw xaw ma si kaw si fan la waaye bu ma demee foofu ñi biir rek ñoo nekkoon si kaw foofu.
When she said upstairs, I did not know where it was. But when I got there, I noticed that all the people there were pregnant.
only the pregnancy woman were in.
Only the pregnant women were there.
so léegi man tam maa ngi foofu 2 weeks.
So
laa am si lopitaan.
I was there for 2 weeks. That was the duration I stayed at the hospital.
so bu ma nekkee si lopitaan bi 2 weeks ñu bàyyi ma.
So after the 2 weeks, I was discharged.
léegi ñu ne ma dama war di ñëw treatment.
They said to
war di
me
ñëw gis docteur.
that I should be coming back for treatment to see the doctor.
so man bu ma waxee ne damaa dem.
So when I said that I was going,
te mu ne ma xaaral dama la bëgg a boole ak docteur Gat.
said to me, "No, wait, I want to link you up with Dr. Gat."
benn Egyptian docteur bu nekkoon si lopitaan.
He was one of the Egyptian doctors who was at the hospital at the time.
so ma àndaa moom si docteur bi.
So I went with him to the doctor.
so docteur mu ne ko kii warut a def benn heavy liggéey.
So the doctor said to him, she should not do any heavy work.
so docteur mu ne dama war a rest for 3 months.
And the doctor advised that I should rest for 3 months.
léegi man maa ngi si kër bi duma dee liggéey.
So I was at home. I don't do any work.
léegi benn bés ma toog rek suñ laan phone bi ring.
So, but one day I sat down and all of a sudden our land phone rang.
suma goro mu ne ma ah ñii de yow la ñoo laajte.
My in-law said to me, the person on the other side of the line is asking for you.
ma jël téléphone bi.
I picked up the telephone.
mu ne ma Awa Sanneh Bittaye ma ne ko yes.
Said to me, "Awa Sanneh Bittaye?" I said yes.
mu ne ma dañ la soxla Kairaba station.
The voice said to me, "You are needed at the Kairaba station."
ma ne ko man wéruma mënumaa ñëw Kairaba station.
I said to the individual, "I am sick. I am not able to come to Kairaba station."
mu ne ma xanaa foo dëkka.
And the guy said to me, "In fact, where do you live?"
mu ne ko maa ngi dëkka Ibo Town.
I said to him, "I live at Ibo Town."
mu ne ma ok mu teg.
The voice said to me, "Okay," and rang off.
ñu koolaat ma back.
And they called again,
ñu ne ma directal kii fan nga dëkka.
and they said to me, "Direct this individual where you live."
so ma direct ko.
So I directed the individual.
te ma toog ba si kanam ma gis moto police bi ñëw taxaw suñ bunti kër.
So I sat down. After a while, I saw a police vehicle drive to the entrance to our gate and parked.
Do you know who was calling you?
xam nga ki la doon oo ci téléphone bi.
déedéet laajtewuma ko turam tamit.
No, and I did not also ask for the person's name.
And you not knowing who he was, why did you direct the person to your house?
Yoo xamuloo kan la lan na tax nga wax ko fi nga dëkka.
déedéet kooku bu mu ringoo fee.
No, after that individual rang off,
ki ma call.
the person that called me,
Karaba station la ma call.
that person called me from the Karawa station.
You know
kooku laa direct suma kër.
That was the person I directed to my house.
Do you know the purpose of that call at that time?
ndax jamono jooju xamoon nga li taxoon ñuy laa kool.
xaw ma woon bi ma doon call waaye bi ma ne Karaba station la ma direct ko suma kër mu ñëw bu mu ñëwee mu ne ma.
I did not know what the reason was, but when he said to me, it was they were calling from the Karawa police station, and I directed the person to my house. The person said to me,
bu mu ñëwee ak moto police bi mu ne ma DIG mu ne nga dem.
when he came with the police vehicle, he said to me, the DIG say that you should go.
ma ne ko xanaa soo ma yóbboo yaa ma indiwaat parce que man awma moto.
I asked him, will you bring me back? Because I don't have a vehicle.
mu ne ma waaw.
He said to me, yes.
We're not very familiar with these abbreviations. Can you please help us with what DIG means, or who was the DIG?
tàmmuñ kàddu yooyu ndax di ñu mun a wax DIG mooy kan.
Deputy Inspector General of Police.
DIG is the Deputy Inspector General of Police.
time boobu Sankumbaji moo fa nekk.
At that time, that post was handled by Sankumbaji.
ba léegi ma ne ko waaw xaaral ma waxaa suma jëkkër.
I said to him, well, yes, but allow me to speak with my husband.
mu dugga si biir fekk suma jëkkër moom dem na.
I went inside, but then I realized that my husband had left the house.
si laa wax suma goro ne ko maa ngi dem si station bi police yi ñu ne ma dem.
That was when I said to my in-law, I am going to the station. The police say that I should go.
so bu ma ñëwee Kairaba station.
So when I came to the Karawa station,
ma fekk fa Sankumbaji.
I met Sankumbaji,
Ousmane Badji.
Ousmane Badji,
Interior Minister.
the Interior Minister,
ak yeneen senior officers.
and other senior officers.
ma fekk fa Menge Cissé moom tam.
I met there Mbenge Sise herself,
ak beneen officer Obolop Tamba benn couple la woon mu ngi woon Bundung station.
and another officer, Obolok Tamba, an officer from the Bundum station.
ma fekk ñoo ñëpp ñu ngi toog si office yi ISO bi.
I met all of those seated inside the SO's office.
ma dugga si ñu laaj ma yow yaay Awa Sanneh Bittaye ma ne leen waaw.
I got inside and they asked me, are you Awa Sanneh Bittaye? I said yes.
ñu ne ma lan moo la dal April 10 11.
They asked me, what happened to you on the 10th and 11th of April?
léegi ma explain li ma dal.
Then I explained what happened to me.
ñu laaj Obolop tamit kooku tam explain lu ko dal.
They asked Obolop and he too explained what happened to him.
ñu laaj Menge tamit Menge explain lu ko dal.
They asked Mbenge and she too explained what happened to her.
léegi mu ne na beneen officer bi ñëw mu jël suma statement ma bina suma statement li ma dal.
Then one officer came and said that I should write a statement stating what happened to me.
te ma bina suma statement bi.
So I also wrote my statement.
mu ne ma waaw Awa suñ la soxlee dinañ la oo.
And then he
parce que dañ
said,
leen a compensate.
and then he said to me, Awa, when we need you, people, we will call you because we have to compensate you.
léegi man tam si la ma moto bi delloo waat ma ñibbi suma kër bu ma bindee suma statement bi ba pare.
And that was how I was taken into that vehicle back to my house after writing my statement.
Apart from the compensation, did they tell you anything else that they were going to do with the statements?
gannaaw liñ la wax ne dafa am ndàmpaay luñ leen a jox ndax am na leneen luñ leen wax foofu bi ngeen demee station bi.
comme suñ demee si station bi naka.
bi ngeen nekkee ci station bi xam nga da nga wax ne dañ leen oo ne dafa am ndàmpaay luñ leen war a jox gannaaw loolu wax jooju ndax am na leneen luñ leen fa wax.
déedéet waxuñ ma fa dara.
No, they told me nothing else.
What happened to you eventually?
Lan moo la dal nag gannaaw loolu.
so buñ ma waxee loolu moto bi delloo ma suma kër.
So after they said that to me, the vehicle returned me back to my house.
maa ngi suma kër di dem lopitaan di ñëw.
I was in my house, going to the hospital and returning home.
waaye man gannaaw bu ma police yi ooyee foofu man xanaa suma collègue si ma traîner ndooral.
But after the police called me there, except my colleagues that I trained together with,
ñooñu rek ñoo doon ñëw suma kër.
those were the only individuals that came to my house.
so maa ngi fa ba in October.
So I was there until the month of October.
ma wasin suma doom bi gaañu the same day.
I gave birth, but I lost my baby the same day.
Do you know what attributed to the still pregnancy?
Ndax xam nga lan moo waral sa doom ji juddu rek gaañu.
because docteur bi waxoon na ma ne dañoo seet naka la ñoo mën a def ba xale bi mu dunda.
Because the doctor had said to me that they were just going to try and see what they could do to ensure that the baby stayed alive.
so man every 2 days dama dee dem lopitaan.
So for me, I went to the hospital every 2 days.
man maa ngi fa ba benn bés ma call docteur bi ma ne ko suma biir bi moo nekk di metti suba ba tey.
I was there, so one day I called the doctor and said to him, my stomach was paining me since morning up to now.
mu ne ma nañ tasee si lopitaan bi kon.
He said to me, well, then let's meet at the hospital.
léegi bu ma demee si lopitaan bi.
So now when I got to the hospital,
ma yónni benn otli pour mu dem school of nursing pour oyal ma suma jëkkër.
I sent one orderly to go to the school of medicine to call my husband for me.
so bu mu ko koolee mu ñëw fekk docteur bi ñëw na.
So after he was called, when he came, he found that the doctor also arrived.
so foofu laa nekk si lopitaan bi ak ñoom ñuy éeg di waajan di daw di ñëw.
So we were there at the hospital, climbing up and down, running here and there.
after ma wasin xale bi gaañ.
After I gave birth and the child died.
so ma delluwaat suma kër.
So I returned back to my house
ba suma yaram bi dëgër.
until I regained some strength.
ma commencé dem di liggéey.
Then I began work again.
You told us that you were hit with a stone at the left side of your rib cage close to your stomach.
right.
wax nga ñu ne dafa am xeer bu la dal ci sa boori càmmoñ sa wet gi waaye wax nga ne ndeyjoor bi la.
waaw si ndeyjoor bi la.
Yes, at the right side.
For that clarification, the right side. Do you think the steel bat is as a result of that incident?
foog nga ne sa doom jooju juddu rek gaañu ndax li ko waral mooy xeer boobu ñu la jam ci sa wet bi sa boori biir bi.
loolu la docteur bi wax de man nekkuma docteur.
That was what the doctor said. As you know, I am not a doctor.
And can you please tell us how you felt about that?
di ñu mën a wax nag loo yëg ci loolu.
miiti woon na because kooku moo nekkoon suma taaw.
It was hard because that was my first child.
xam nga jigéen soo séyee loolu dee bëgg rek mooy doom.
You know, for a woman, when you are married, the one thing you look out for is to get a child.
xale boobu lu ma doon gënal ma téye ko.
What would have been best for me was to be able to hold that child.
waaye nag buñ ma ne gaañu na mu ne ma si dara.
But,
naa ma jooy rek dem ñibbi.
But when they told me that he had died, there was nothing I could do except cry and return home.
I'm really sorry for your loss.
maa ngi métit lu ñàkk googu nga ñàkk sa doom ji.
Sure, as a young mother, that must have been quite painful for you.
xam naa lu métti la doon jamono jooju nga nekk yaay ju ndaw.
You also mentioned compensation.
Tudda nga fi tamit mbiri ndàmpaay.
That they promised that they will compensate you for what happened.
Boo xam ne dañ la digoon ne dinañ la ko jox ngir li la dal.
Did they eventually carry out their promise?
Ndax mujjee woon nañ la koo jox.
No.
Do you know if the other victims as well, security officers, were eventually compensated for their injuries as well?
Am nga ndax sa yeneen naataango yi liggéey ci wàlli kaaraange gi ndax ñoom joxoon nañ leen seen ndàmpaay.
yëguma kenn ku wax ne jox nañ ko ndàmpaay.
I'm not aware of anyone that says that they will be compensated.
Can you tell us, even if after that incident you had any further complications from what happened to you?
Ndax di ñu mun a wax gannaaw xew-xew boobu ak li xew yépp mujjee gi ndax am na leneen loo xam ne yaa ngi ko doon yëg loo xam ne daal mu ngi sababoo ci xew-xew boobu la daloon.
déedéet after loolu dama doon dem lopitaan si docteur bi.
No, after that I used to go to the hospital, to the doctor.
So bu ma biiraatee suma second doom bi.
When I was pregnant for my second child, with my second child,
docteur mu ne ma bul join fenn nurse ñëwal fii.
the doctors told me not to go to nurse anywhere except to him.
So si moom laa doon demee nurse.
And so I was going to him
ma wasin.
until I gave birth.
Thank God for that. I'm glad that you were able to conceive even after that tragic incident.
Santa Yàlla kontaan naa bi ma xamee ne ama nga beneen doom gannaaw xew-xew bu métti bi la njëkkoon a dal.
Can you tell us how this incident has impacted your life?
Loolu nga xam ne moo la daloon ndax di ñu mun a wax nag lan la la jural ci sa dunda.
loolu duma ko dee bëgg a xalaat sax wala ma waxtaanee ko.
I am not always willing to talk about that or even to think about it.
moo tax ñu bari bu ma leen waxee dama ñëw TRRC ñu ne ñu ma laaj lu xew.
That was why when I told many other people that I was coming to the TRRC, they were asking me what happened.
parce que loolu duma ko dee waxtaanee kenn.
Because I never discussed that with anyone.
parce que dafa nekk loo xam ne daf ma dee miiti.
Because that is something that usually hurts me.
moo tax duma ko dee waxtaanee fenn.
That is why I never discuss it anywhere.
Thank you very much, Madam Bittaye.
Jërëjëf, Madam Bittaye.
And once again, I'm really sorry for what has happened to you.
ba tey tamit maa ngi mitlu bu baax li nga xam ne moo la dal.
And you still continue serving as a police officer,
te ba tey yaa ngi continuer di liggéey ci police bi.
even after what happened.
Gannaaw loolu nga xam ne yépp moo la ci dal.
Can you please tell us why?
da di ñu mun a wax lu tax.
bu ma si jógee maa ngi liggéey si police mi because dama gis ne li ma dal police yi teguñ ma ko.
After that incident, I still continued working with the police because I saw to it that what happened to me was not the fault of the police.
waaye police yi fu ñu mistake mooy soo amee kuy liggéey si sa ron mu feebar dafa am loo war a def pour kooku mën a fii sa presentation.
But where the police made a mistake was that when you have somebody working under you and something like that happened to him, there is something that you should do to give that person the impression that you have really felt what happened to the person.
waaye students yi dama leen mere trop.
But I am very angry with the students.
parce que sooy attaque nit muy daw.
Because when you are attacking someone who is running away,
mu nekk serviceman or service woman.
either the person is a serviceman or woman,
da nga war a bàyyi.
you should let go.
waaye boobu seytaane mu ngi muur seen bëti.
At that time, they were possessed, sort of, that they could not see.
so man daal moo tax lii duma ko dee waxtaanee fenn.
That is why, for me, this is something that I don't always discuss anywhere.
Thank you very much, Madam Bittaye.
jërëjëf Madam Bittaye.
Mr. Chairman, I'll hand over the witness to you now.
Thank you very much, Council, and thank you very much, Madam Bittaye, for your testimony.
jërëjëf Council jërëjëf Madam Bittaye ci sa seede yi nga fi joxe.
Truly sorry about the suffering that you endured.
maa ngi mititlu bu baax tamit nag yooyu nga xam ne moo la dal.
Especially the loss of your first child.
rawatina sax li nga ñàkk sa taaw.
Commissioners, if you have any questions, please so indicate that. Deputy Chair, you have the floor.
Thank you very much, Awa. And I add my voice to all those who have sympathized with you, but also to congratulate you on your courage on going back to help your fallen comrade Menge. That was very courageous. Now the question is, I'm interested to know what happened to the sub-inspector who was locked up in the room. Did he escape?
jërëjëf Awa manit maa ngi bokk benn kàddu gi ak suma ay naataango di mititlu loolu nga xam ne moo la dal waaye bi tey nag di la gërëm ci li nga xam ne am nga fit bi ak góom-góom gi ba delluwaat ci sa liggéey bi léegi li ma la bëgg a laaj mooy waa jooju nga xam ne yaa ngi tëju woon a moom ci biir foofu noonu ndax xam nga gannaaw gi moom naka la mujjee.
moom dara daru ko de.
Nothing happened to him.
Awa.
jërëjëf Awa.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Samba. You have the floor.
Awa, mangla gërëm.
Awa, I want to thank you.
Ila massa ti betit bi nga am.
I also want to sympathize for the
dama bëggoon a xam
loss.
doom bi nga am ndax góor la ndax jigéen.
I want to know that child you had, was it male or female?
ki gaañu wala ki ma am léegi.
The one that died or the one that I have now?
Sa first one bi gaañu.
The first one that died,
góor la woon.
he was a boy.
Jërëjëf te massa.
Thank you and my condolences.
Thank you very much, Madam Bittaye. If you have any closing remarks to make, please proceed to do so now.
jërëjëf Madam Bittaye bu fekkee ne nag am na kàddu yu mujj yoo fi bugg a gaaral mun nga koo def.
kàddu yi ma gaaral mooy di gërëm suma jëkkër ci taxaw bi ma taxaw.
I want to begin by thanking my husband for the stance that he took for me.
suma mbokk yi suñ bëggoon a ñëw sax daf leen de wane toog leen man maay jëkkëram dinaa jël responsibility.
Because even if my relatives wanted to come, he will tell them, no, you wait, I will take care because I am the husband.
ay gërëm suma baaj meet si ñi ma train andooral teñ des police.
I want to thank my badge that I trained with, who are still at the police.
ak ñi nekkut si police bi yëpp bu ma lii dalee ñoom ñëpp dañ doon soo concern di ñëw suma kër.
And those that are not in the police now, when I was going through all of that, they were showing a lot of concern.
mooy ñi ma train andooral 97 baaj gërëm naa leen sant naa leen.
Those that I trained with, the 97 badge, I thank them.
gërëm suma waajur yi.
Thank my parents too.
ñaan nag lu mel nii yal na bu mu fi amaat.
I will pray that things like this may they not happen again here.
because safara soo koy taal fi nga ko dee taalee nga dee xam wante fi mu dee em doo ko dee xam.
Because when you light a fire, it is only the spot where you light it where you know. But the extent where the fire will reach, you are not able to tell.
because ñoom ñu ngi doon démontrer si loo xam ne man defuma si dara.
Because they were demonstrating on something which I had nothing to do with.
yëguma si dara.
I was not aware of anything.
suma doom bi gaañu is innocent yëgu si dara.
My child that died is innocent. He was not aware of anything.
so loolu yëpp ñëw dal ma si loolu.
So all of that I had to endure.
ñoom bi ñoo wax démonstrate xalaatuñ woon ne loolu yëpp dina si am.
When they were discussing about the demonstration, they did not think about that this will happen.
ba tey yal nañu yàlla musal si fitna.
Which is why may God protect us and prevent us from violence.
man liggéey police bi maa ko bugga kenn forcé wu ma dugga fa.
Because the work of a police officer, I want it. Nobody forced me to become an officer.
dama liggéey police ba ma retire xanaa ma dee.
And I will work in the police force until I retire, except if I die.
man daal police moom dama ko bugga rek suma xol bi.
For me, I loved to be a police officer, and that is from my heart.
Thank you very much indeed, Madam Bittaye, for your testimony.
jërëjëf madame Bittaye ci seede yi nga fi joxe.
And thank you also for your service in the police force.
la gërëmi tamit ci liggéey bi nga def ci police bi.
Council, are we ready with the second witness after the short break?
Yes.
Fine, if that is it, then we will take a 30-minute break, come back at 12:05 sharp. Thank you. Meeting is adjourned. You all welcome back. Council, are we ready with the next witness? If we are, we can proceed, please.
Yes, Mr. Chair, we're ready with the next witness. May I ask the usher to lead him in, please?
I, Alhaji S. Dabo, do swear that I will speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Dabo. Welcome to the TRRC. As you know, we've already met. My name is Esa Mbaifal, and I would lead you in evidence on behalf of the commissioners. Do you understand?
Yes.
You are asked to come and testify about student union activities in the Gambia in the 2000 period, including the events of April 10 and 11, the year 2000, and in the immediate aftermath. And we expect you to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. You understand?
Yes.
Good. Are you now ready to give your testimony?
Yes.
This would be translated in the local languages for the audience in the hall. So you should allow for 3 seconds between our speeches so that our speeches would not overlap, and also that so that we do not interfere with the interpretation. You understand?
Yes.
Good. So what are your full names, please?
Alhaji S. Dabo,
And what is your date of birth?
15 December 1970,
Where were you born?
Kandungu village in the Fonyi Bintankana district of West Coast region.
Could you speak a little bit slowly, please? If
Thank
I
you.
didn't have the statement in front of me, I would not know some of the villages you just mentioned.
Very well.
You said Kandonku village, correct?
Yes,
In Fonyi Bintang Karanai district.
exactly.
What a name. Really nice. The West Coast region of the Gambia.
Yes.
And you currently reside in Birkama Daru Hairu.
Exactly.
What does Daru Hairu mean?
It's a word of Kabilo in Bikama.
Okay, wonderful. So give us a brief description, just in summary, of your educational background.
I attended Savannah Primary School 1977 to 83. Then Bikama Junior from 1983 to 87.
You mean Birkama Junior Secondary School?
Exactly, yeah. And
Proceed,
then
please.
Gambia High School 88 to 95 for both A and A level.
That is for both O and A levels.
Exactly.
And what did you do upon finishing A levels?
Well, partly after finishing O level, I taught briefly as an unqualified teacher at St. Teresa's. Then from there, I picked up appointment with the then Provisional Independent Electoral Commission, PIEC, and served as the Senior Registration Officer and Assistant Returning Officer.
Assistant returning officer.
Returning officer. During the registration is Senior Registration Officer, and after registration, Assistant Returning Officer.
Good. And did you go back to teaching?
Yeah, after the contract, almost about 9 months or 10 months, I went back to teaching field and I served as unqualified teacher at Birkama Bar Upper Basic School, I think 1997 to 98.
And Birkama Bar would be in CRR?
CRR, yes.
And did you pursue further education after A levels?
After the 1 year that I served as unqualified teacher at Birkama Bar, I came to Gambia College, then where I pursue the higher teacher certificates from 1998 to 2000.
You've been involved in a lot of activities in your community, both for community development, development of youth, and development of sports. Could you talk briefly about that, please?
At the community level, I've been involved in the Village Development Committee of Daru Hairu, and for about 5 years, I've been a member of that committee. And
from which year?
Precisely, that will be from 1995 to 1997, if I got the years right. And I also serve, after being a member, I also serve as chairman of the BDC. I think that will be from 2001 precisely up to about 2005.
Okay, good. And how about sporting activities?
Sports, that has been my passion.
Do you play football?
I used to play, but for a short while because of illness, and I turned from being active player to sport administrator.
Great, wonderful. Tell us the positions you have held in sporting organizations during this period.
I founded the football club or a co-founder to the football club in my area. That is the Darius Football Club. Then from there, I joined Birkama Youth and Sport Association. Then it was called. I served as the Assistant Secretary General. Then along the way, I became the Secretary General. I think from 2002 to about 2003, I was Assistant Secretary General. Then from there, I became the Secretary General from about 2000, I think about 2005. I was Secretary General up to 2008. Then I left the executive. I was voted out at one point, then came back around 2011 precisely, or 12 if I'm not right. So I served again as Secretary General until 2015.
But apart from BISA itself?
Yes, apart from BISA, in the school sports, I was the Assistant Secretary General for the Gambia Secondary School Sports Association from 2004 to about 2008. Then from there I became the Secretary General up to the time when I got into politics. I think that was around 2016. I was the Secretary General of the Gambia Secondary School Sports Association and the national coordinator of that association. At the same time, being the Secretary General, I was a member of the Gambia National Olympic Committee, the General Assembly of the Gambia National Olympic Committee, and being the Secretary General to BAISA. I was also Secretary to our football team called the Brikama United Football Club, which I seized that cap to represent that club in the Gambia Football Association, then now called the Gambia Football Federation.
Good. And that brought you into a lot of contact with youths, and you participated in a number of youth organizations, correct?
Very right.
Could you give us a brief itinerary of that?
The youth organizations, let me say still at sports level, while serving as the Secretary General or Assistant Secretary General for BAISA and secondary school, I was also chairperson of Fonyi Bintang Kranai District Sports Committee, which I did for about 2 years. And then after that, I still served that district as their youth chairperson for 4 years. And during those periods, I used to be part of the conference delegates for West Coast for NACOF, the Biennial National Youth Conference and Festival for 2004, 2006, concurrently. During those periods, I used those portfolios to interact and engage with the youth folks, not only in West Coast, but the Gambia at large.
And in fact, you are also a NACONF delegate for UDP in 2015?
Yeah, I retired, that was after 2006, in active youths. But in 2015, I think that was the first time when the National Youth Council decided to invite political party reps to NACONF conference. And being a member of United Democratic Party, I was delegated by the party to represent the party at that conference in Genoa, LRR. That was in 2015.
So you, not only that, you also participated in IOGT activities, correct?
At the school level in Bottrop, I was the coordinator of the Bottrop branch, IOGT, that's the International Organization for Good Templars. And then, because my branch was the most active, I think that was carrying the bulk of the activities of IOGT in the Gambia. And eventually, I was elected as the National Secretary General of IOGT.
And you entered politics in 2012.
Yeah,
right?
it came, by the way, in 2012, because I was an active member of the VDC, and when I was the chairperson of my VDC, I represent my ward or my kabilo at the Ward Development Committee according to the Local Government Act. And there I served as the secretary to the Ward Development Committee, even though I was opposition. Then my participation in that committee, the community approached me in 2012 to contest for the councillorship. as an independent candidate, which I did. Unfortunately, I could not make it.
I think you've contested the most elections in Gambia, considering the secretarial positions to which you were elected. You have a whole lot of them. I wouldn't venture to count. They're just too many. But that speaks to the experience you have. And in 2015, what happened? 2016?
2015, I think, was a turning point. For me, that's saw my exit in sports. I think that NACOF, which I attended in Genoa, I was privileged to contribute to a debate surrounding what they call the Vision 2016. And I gave a remark that the Vision 2016 is achievable if the methodology of actualization of the concept is changed from Jamaicanization to Gambianization. I think that took a front page, newspaper front page, that did not go down well with the sport fraternity. When I returned, a kind of coup d'etat was lodged against my committee in Brikama. There was constitutional coup d'etat, and they connived with the National Sport Council and demanded that our committee resigned when our election was just 3 months due. We insisted, we embattled for about 3 months. Eventually, with the involvement of government official, being security, National Sport Council, the ministry, we are forced to leave the office, and another executive was elected.
But isn't it a rule in FIFA that national governments should not involve in the politics of football?
Yeah, FIFA governs football, but not sports in general.
I agree.
And Brikama Sport Association is under the purview of the District Sports Committee of Combo Central, and then West Coast Region Sports Committee, and then along that ladder to National Sport Council. That means directly we are under the National Sport Council. So National Sport Council backed that move that overthrew us from office. That's why my exit from sports.
Simply because you made a statement that we should move away from Jamaicanization to Gambianization.
Certainly.
Well, it had some good effect in that you went into politics, full-time politics, soon thereafter.
That is the conclusion I made. I said, I think in order to regulate institutions in the Gambia, we must uproot what is the root cause of all this. To me, the problem about the Gambia is Jammeh. Unless and until we get that out, no institution in this country will be regulated.
You joined the UDP, didn't you?
Well, I've been in UDP, but not active politician. It was at that time then I decided now that I think I have a role to play in order to effect change politically. Then to do that, I must fully participate. I will not be a passive politician, but an active politician. I got in the UDP, vied for positions at the district level, became the district secretary general and coordinator for West Coast. Eventually, in 2016, I contested at the National Congress in Basse, where I was elected the Deputy Senior Administrative Secretary. But before that, I drafted what is called the structural revision and revitalization program of the UDP Youth Wing, which I requested for the entire revision of the constitution of the UDP.
Yes, but that is taking us a little further away from the whole essence of your testimony. It is sufficient to just establish the positions you have held so that we can have a better idea who you are as a person. So let's say that you became a member of the coalition executive planning committee or the planning and finance committee, is that right?
Yes, that is when the opposition parties came together to form a coalition. They call it 2016.
Good.
I represented UDP and became an executive member. And then the subcommittee, the planning and finance, I chaired that committee.
In 2017, you contested for parliamentary elections, and you are the National Assembly member for Birkama North, correct?
Exactly.
And you are also a member of the Pan-African Parliament.
Exactly.
Thank you very much. And during your career, you won some awards. Could you tell us about those?
In 2006, I won the regional award as the most outstanding teacher in the West Coast at the upper basic sector. And in the same year, I also won the most outstanding teacher nationally, the national award for the upper basic sector for the Gambia Teachers Union.
Wonderful. So now let's take you back to your student days. In 1999, there was a GAMSU election in August. Tell us about it.
The Fakuru Silla, that is Mohamed Silla, the then executive president, term ended and they convened Congress at the Gambia College. There, I was lucky to be elected as the vice president of the Gambia Student Union.
And could you tell us who was in the executive at the time? The new executive that was elected during this Congress?
The new executive that was also in the office comprised President Omar Juf, Vice President Alhaji S. Dabo, Secretary General Sinab J, Information Secretary Alaji Kamara, Treasurer Alassane Sise, Public Relations Officer Usman Ba, External Relations Officer Babukar Jonga, Auditor Mohamed Sanusi Drame, Assistant Auditor Yankuba Dafe, Secretary to the Advisory Board, the lead Babukar An, and Assistant Secretary to Advisory Board, Mahmoud Njai. We also have what we call the ex-officio members. The then president of the UEP, University Extension Program, Ali Dabo, and the then president of the Gambia College Students Sub-Union, Ali Khan, and the president of GTTI Student Union, who also doubled as the Assistant Secretary General. That is Daniel B. Davis. Then we had two co-opted members, Molo Jallo and Demba Khan. The regional coordinators, Banjul Babukar Seidi, KM Okanifi Municipality, Ibrahima O Jallo, West Coast, Mati Toure, NBR, Musa Jobate, CRR, Malik Jallo, and URR, and Suman Sano. I could not remember the coordinator for LRR. I think soon after the election, she was no longer active. That's why I could not recall the name of the coordinator for LRR.
You mentioned a Mr. Jallo for KMC, for Kanifing Municipality Coordinator. What's his full name again?
Ibrahima O. Jallo.
So in your statement, we have Usman Jallo. So we can correct that and say Ibrahim O. Jallo.
Yes, I asked this one to correct it. I don't know whether he has given you the corrected one, but the one corrected.
I am looking at the uncorrected one.
Okay, it's corrected as Ibrahima O. Jallo.
Thank you very much. And can you tell us what were the functions of the executive of GAMSU?
The executive will have what is called the central executive. That comprises the elected officials from president right down to assistant coordinator. That is in charge of the day-to-day administration of the union and running of the union. And then the general executive, that is the entire membership of the executive, including the co-opted or the ex officio and the coordinators. They work with the national executive in time to implement the activities of the executive.
But what was the purpose of GAMSU? What were its main objectives?
Gambia is a union comprised all the students in the tertiary institution, senior secondary schools, and then the upper basic schools.
Primary schools not included?
Primary schools are not included. The union pursue and stand for the welfare of the students.
Mr. Dabo, this is not a memory test. You have your statement with you. You can refer to it if necessary.
Okay, noted.
Proceed, please.
The welfare of the students, and when students have matters regarding their education, it is the union that look into those matters to address them. GAMSU also solicits sponsorship for needy and deserving students. When there are problems in schools, the ministry or the school authorities used to seek the support of GAMSU to address those problems, to look for amicable solutions. We organize student activities. For example, at that time, in celebrating the International Student Day, we organized what we call Hands for Student Art Exhibition. The project that I personally launched in order to promote art education in schools and in order to make available an opportunity for students to showcase their talents in arts and for them to tap income through that. These are some of the activities that we used to do, and then we also conduct sensitization program for schools, leadership trainings, among others.
In the year 2000, shortly after you were elected to the executive, two important events occurred in the Gambia which led to serious consequences for students in this country. Can you tell us about those two activities? those two incidents?
That was in April 2000.
In March 2000.
Precisely, I started March 2000, almost 3 months in office. The two incidents were, one, the alleged murder of a student from Foster Senior Secondary School in the name of Ibrahim Abari, and then the alleged rape of a student from Brikamaba Upper Basic School in the name of Pinta Mane.
In fact, just a moment. I think the Bintamane issue occurred almost at the same time with the Ibrahim Abari issue, just 2 days apart.
Yes.
Tell us about the Ibrahim Abari issue and how you came to know about it.
Ibrahim Abari, it was on the 10th of March in the morning when I got the news that a student of the said school, that's the Foster Senior Secondary School, was beaten, and eventually that led to his untimely death.
In your statement, the previous one, it says the 9th. Are you correcting the date to the 10th?
Yeah, it was on the 9th, not 10th rather.
The 9th, okay.
Yeah.
Proceed, please.
Then upon hearing that news, I decided, because at that time, the President, Mr. Omar Diouf, was up country with some students on tour, sensitizing the students about the GAMSU Trust Fund that we initiated. Being the leader on the ground, I decided to go to the police to inquire about that news. I did confirm from the SO at Brikama Police Station, yes, they had saw the news, but investigation was at the preliminary stage. They could not give me actually what happened, but they've opened an investigation, and it was at the plenary stage. Then there, I also had the looming demonstration at the said school. I decided to go to the school. It was not very far from the station. Upon arrival at the school, that is the Foster Senior Secondary School, but the Senior Secondary School was located at the premises of the Brikama Technical Training Center. That is the two classrooms, the grade 10 classrooms were operating at the Technical Training Center, just beside the market. Upon arrival, I met a group of students about to leave the school premises in an attempt to demonstrate outside against the alleged death of Ibrahima. With the assistance of some of the teachers, we succeeded in stopping them until they got back to their classrooms. I also appealed to the head teacher if I could address them to stay calm, that the matter would be investigated by the police according to them, which I did so successfully. From there, I also heard that the body was taken to RVTH for post-mortem. I decided to go there. I joined the family members at RVTH. My intention was to witness the post-mortem, but it was put to me that that was restricted only to family members. Then the family members who were allowed to witness the post-mortem was the uncle of the late Ibrahim Abari, Sekubari, and also a brother, Sheba Bari. I did not wait to witness the postmortem because I was not allowed. I decided to come back to Brikama, not comfortable with the situation on the ground. Then upon arrival, I went to the other site. That is where the two classrooms were operating, the new site at Jamisa. And I met with the principal, and then the principal gathered the students. I addressed them, appealed to them to remain calm.
This school, was it operating from 3 different sites?
2 sites.
How many sites?
2 sites.
2 sites.
One around the market.
That is the Birkama Technical Training Center.
That's what housed the grade 10 classrooms for the senior secondary school.
And then you went to
the
this...
new site where you have the grade 11 and grade 12.
And the parent school is located where?
The parent school is where you have the technical training center.
Oh, okay.
That's where you have the grade 10.
Okay.
And the new site where you have the grade 11 and grade 12.
Okay. All right. Proceed, please.
Then after that, I went back to the college. That was all that I did for that day. That is on the 9th.
And what happened in the subsequent days?
Subsequent days, I think on the 13th, I was among the group of students, leaders, who went to the police to inquire about the case, and then also saw our concern and the need for action to be taken. At the police station, we were told that they've opened investigation, and cautionary form was given to us if we could come in to facilitate the investigation. We took the form to the school. We interrogated some teachers, precisely 3 of them, and a student. Then later we proceeded to the family house and interrogated the father.
Who did the interrogation?
We, the student leaders.
So it was the student leaders who took the statements of these witnesses?
Well, we were given the forms, and we were trying to gather information on our side. On that basis, the police gave us the form, and then that was a cautionary statement form. Whatever information we got from them, we took that to be relevant information as far as statement is concerned.
Was it cautionary statement or voluntary statements?
The form I could remember was a cautionary statement.
It's curious that you were given cautionary statement forms, because that would suggest that the person may have been suspected of having committed offense. If my memory serves me well, that's the process here. Cautionary statement for a person who is to be cautioned when making the statement, and you caution the person who is suspected of having committed crimes. But in any case, that is what you were given, cautionary statement forms.
That's my belief. I could not ascertain clearly whether it was cautionary or voluntarily. But that's my belief that it was that. But if it could be the other way around, it's not it.
So the police ceded the responsibility of taking the statements to you. Is that what happened?
Well, we saw that they gave us the forms, and we've not seen them being involved in our presence in trying to obtain statements from the school authorities or from the family.
And how did the student leadership perceive this step by the police. The step I'm referring to is when the police decided to cede the responsibility of taking the witness statements to the student leadership to go around, look for witnesses, and get those witnesses to write statements. How was that perceived by the student leadership?
That we did not receive that well because we saw that the police were not showing that commitment to dig into the circumstance surrounding the death of Ibrahim at the very beginning. We felt disappointed.
And did you, in fact, take the statements?
So we did not take the statement. We only recorded the interview that we took, but we went with the forms.
Could you tell us who you interviewed?
The first person that we interviewed was the head teacher of the school, I think Mr. Ajao, who was in charge of that section of the school.
Do you recollect what he told you?
Yes, according to Mr. Ajao.
Just in very brief terms, huh? Just in brief.
According to Mr. Ajao, the lady Ibrahima had a problem with a teacher who believed to be a commerce teacher overseeing arrangement. And then that resulted to a fight between the two. Eventually he was sent home. The next day he returned. And then he was supposed to suspend him, fearing that he may overreact. When issued with suspension later, he decided to seek the assistance of the officials of the fire service station just nearby the school for them to witness him issuing the suspension later for Ibrahim to leave. The fire service provided an officer who came while Ibrahim was given the suspension later. And then he did not hear anything until the next day that he had died.
And who else did you interview?
The next person we interviewed was the class teacher of the boy that is late Ibrahima, who also narrated a similar story with that of the head teacher, Mr. Ajao.
And did you interview any friends or colleagues of the late Ibrahim?
One Alaji Giana, a classmate of Ibrahim, I think they used to sit at the same desks. Also, his evidence corroborated with that of the class teacher, or the head teacher, that the problem emanated from sitting arrangement, resulting to a fight, and then eventually Ibrahim was asked or sent home that the next day when he reappeared, he was in the class. Then Mr. Agao came with a fire service officer, and then they escorted Ibrahim out, and he did not see Ibrahim the rest of the day. In the evening, he decided to pay a visit to his house and found that he was crying of pain. And he told him that when he was taken to the PIU station at Bikama, he was tortured and his hairs were shaved and water was poured on his head. He stayed with him for a while, then eventually left home. The next day he heard that it passed away.
How about any family member of Ibrahim?
That is the father, Mr. Aliu Bari. Aliu narrated that he was at the market where he used to sell at Bikama market. Ibrahim appeared with a fire service officer, and the fire service told him that his son had a problem with the school authorities, that he was unruly. And the man felt disappointed and appealed to the fire service officer if he could accompany him back to the school so that he can plead to the school authorities. Which they did, and they went back to the school and he appealed to the head teacher and apologized to him on behalf of Ibrahima. The head teacher accepted the apology and told him that Ibrahima should resume after the Tobaski break. He said in the evening when he went home, he found Ibrahima was complaining of pain. He also narrated how he was subjected to torture at the fire service station. In the morning, he decided to go to the market, but he was called back that the situation of Ibrahima was worsening. On his way, he met them in a taxi going to the health center. At the health center, he was subjected to tests, and the doctor finally pronounced that he had died.
Were you alone when these interviews were conducted?
No, I was not alone. There were some student leaders from the college.
Who were they?
Lamin Job was there, and Molo Jallo was also there.
These interviews were conducted on the 13th March 2000, correct?
Yes.
Were there any demonstrations at the police station or at the fire service by the students from Birkama before this date?
No.
So, kindly tell us, what did you do with those statements?
Those statements, we did not, as I said, we did not write the statement. We interviewed them and then took records of the evidence that we got them. And these were the facts that we brief our colleagues, that is the executive members, to give them the situational report as what actually transpired. Contrary to some information that was going around that Ibrahima was tortured and given cement to eat and all that. So those were the situational report that we gave to the executive.
Did the witnesses you spoke to sign statements? Did they sign any statements?
They did.
And those statements were written by you?
Yes, after recording, then we transferred.
And what did you do with those written statements?
These were with us until when we had the demonstration, but the police never took them from us.
So you never surrendered them to the police?
Exactly.
And tell us about the Bintamane incident.
Bintamane, as I said, was a student at Brikamaba Upper Basic School. She was an athlete who came with the school to take part in the inter-school annual athletic championships. And one fine evening, I think it was on the 11th, according to her, she was allegedly raped by PIU officer around the Independence Stadium.
Were you by any chance involved in any matters surrounding the investigation of that alleged rape?
No, it was Omar Diouf, my president, who was involved in that, while I was with that of Ibrahima at Birkama N.
How did you come to learn about this alleged rape of Bintamane?
Just like the news of Ibrahima, this also was like a wildfire, that another student had been victimized read by the PIU officials at the Independent Stadium. I was informed by some executive members about that incident.
Did GAMSU as an organization take up these two issues?
It took the two issues very seriously because we saw the students were very much concerned. And when we brief on both cases, that is the alleged murder of Ibrahima and rape of Ibrahima, we wrote what we call our demand letters to show our concern to the authorities.
And to whom were these demand letters addressed?
It was sent to the Inspector General of Police, copied to the Secretary General Office of the President, and to the PS, Department of State for Education.
How about the Interior?
Yes, PS Interior as well.
Do you recall what was stated in those letters?
That is precisely for them to identify the culprit who allegedly raped Ibrahima and then
Allegedly?
raped Ibrahima and then bring him to
Who
book.
allegedly?
Rape Bintamani rather, and then bring him to a book. And likewise that of the culprits who were involved in the torture of Ibrahima to be also identified and then brought to book. Then the officials at the Brikama Fire Station be transferred because we feel if they are not transferred, continue to be there, that may be seen provocative to the school students around that area who might have known them. And then we gave an ultimatum that is on the 7th for the authorities to act.
And in between the date of those letters and the 7th, did the GAMSU authorities receive any feedback from government?
Not at all.
And as a result of the lack of feedback from government, did you do anything?
Well, on the 22nd, I think this is what sparked. I think there was a newspaper report that the autopsy report revealed that Ibrahima died of natural cause.
But before the autopsy report came out on the 22nd, did the GAMSU executive hold a meeting in which the response or lack thereof by the government was discussed?
Yes, GAMSU held a meeting, I believe, was on the 20th, and so concerned that the authorities were not showing that commitment to our request and then the matters at hand, and we decided to call a press conference, try to show that concern to the authorities in a way of press briefing.
Was the press briefing held before you received news of the autopsy report, or was it held afterwards?
That was before. We did not actually receive the autopsy report. It was on the newspaper report that we saw on the 22nd.
The question is, did you hold the press conference or press briefing before you received information about the autopsy?
The press briefing was held on the 24th.
On the 24th?
Yes.
So that is after?
After.
All right. So tell us about the autopsy report that you received and what happened as a result.
We do not get the copy of the autopsy report, just the newspaper caption that the autopsy report revealed that Ibrahima died of natural causes. I think this sparked the Gambia College on the 22nd decided that they should go to the commissioner's office to show their concern and grievance surrounding the death of Ibrahim. At the same time also, to pay condolences to the bereaved family and to give the charity.
At what stage did you come to be involved with this activity?
This happened when we resumed from the Tobaski feast break. I came to the college in the morning. Then I heard the rumor that there'll be no class that day. The students are going to march to the commissioner's office, as I indicated. Then upon hearing that, I decided to go to the secretariat to inquire about the rumor. I found some executive members, including the president, and I was adequately informed. Yes, there is such a plan. And I was also briefed about the arrangement. That is, the students will march off the highway while the leaders will be along the highway, and some will be in front, others will be behind.
Proceed, please.
Others will be behind. I tried to talk to them if we can still continue with the meeting, but unfortunately I found that some of the executive members had already left, and that the students were also informed about the plan to have that march to the commissioner's office. I put that to my president, that is Omar Diouf, who was not at the Gambia College at that time. Then he told me to cooperate with them, and that we make sure we accompany the student as planned to avoid any problem. The march happened from the Gambia College right down to the commissioner's office as planned, without any problem. At the commissioner's office, the students were received by the commissioner then of West Coast, or Western Region as it used to be called, and then the president of the Gambia College expressed the concern to the commissioner regarding the circumstances surrounding the death of Ibrahim and the need for the authorities to act.
For you as student leaders, you did not see the autopsy report itself. You based your action mainly on the captions or the headlines on the newspapers, correct?
It was the newspaper that sparked, yes.
Didn't you think that it was worth the while or necessary that you see the autopsy report itself in order to be able to draw your own conclusions instead of ceding that responsibility or that step to the newspapers, which could be misleading?
Yes, that was my position. That's why I said I tried if we could continue the meeting, but unfortunately it was decided and then the students were informed.
Okay, but that wasn't to happen. You decided to go, you decided to accept what was contained in the autopsy report, and on the basis of that, they decided to go on a demonstration.
To march to the commissioner's office,
yes.
So the concern to the commissioner.
All right, proceed, please.
Then from the commissioner's office, the commissioner also responded and assured that action will be taken. The student proceeded to the family house at Bikama, and we were received by the father and some family members.
How large was this student group?
Well, I could not estimate the size, but it could be more than 100. It's more than 100 students.
Okay. And proceed, please.
We are received by the father and son family members. We pay our condolences to the family and share the sympathy with them. We also give the charity that was collected by the students in the college and prayed for the soul of Brahma to rest in eternal peace. Then we decided to go back to the college. This time round, those who were leading those who were in front could not control the student to go back the route that we have taken. And they took the route that led past the market. Some of us who used to be behind, we came up to where in become called the FMB, the community radio station, and saw them taking that route. Before we could get to around the fire service, then we saw stoning started to the direction of the fire service station. There was that stoning, and we tried until we were able to stop, but the stoning resulted to smashing windscreen of the fire ambulance. Before the PIU officials were sent, and then eventually we were able to stop the stoning, and then we escorted the students back to the college.
Did you have any encounter with the PIU personnel at that stage?
Yeah, around the market, I think I was spotted as one of the leaders, and there was that attempt to arrest me, but I advised them not to do so because it could spark commotion and pandemonium around the market that could result to destruction of property around the market. I think Landing Baji called Tatim Baji overheard that, and he concurred with me and told them they should not do so. Big J finally agreed. I was not arrested. I stayed behind and ensured that all the students left the market area and went back to the college. Upon arrival at the college, I found a lot of security officials at the college. And I was also told that there was a meeting going on at the principal's office with some security heads. But the meeting was almost getting to an end.
Who did you find in that meeting?
I think the IGP was there. The IGP was there, and then the commissioner in charge of West Coast region was also among the security officials.
Yes. And did you get to hear any part of the discussions that happened during that meeting? Well,
yes, they said the security officials condemned the action of the students and they warned against such. But on the side of the students were also demanding that justice needs to be done.
And who are the officials who participated in this meeting? Do you recall?
That's what I said. On the side of security, I could recall the IGP and then the commissioner in charge of West Coast, the police commissioner.
How about the regional education officers?
Regional education POES was also there.
And the chief?
Head chief
Yes.
of Commerce Central.
Yes. And who do you recall their names?
Yeah, precisely, yes.
Could you tell us, please?
Yeah, these are the ones I can recall.
Their names, I want to say.
The names.
The names of these individuals.
The IGP at that time, I believe, was Rest King.
Mhm.
And the Commissioner for West Coast, I could not recall the name of that person.
Would it be Keba Sise?
Keba was the divisional commissioner. This one is the police commissioner.
Okay. But was Keba present?
I could not recall the presence of Keba.
And who else?
The head chief of Commerce Central, Bakari Dembo Santamboya.
Yes. And who else?
The principal of the Gambia College.
All right. So after this meeting, what else happened?
That meeting happened on the 22nd. Then on the 23rd, in order to diffuse the tension in Bikama and surrounding, we decided to go to schools, to talk to the students, to stay calm, that there is no planned demonstration, because that was what was looming, that there will be demonstration. So we did that the whole of the 23rd in schools between Bikama and surrounding.
Whose decision was it to?
That is the leadership of students.
And after that, did you hold any activities on the next day?
Yes, 24th. The security heads, precisely I will say the Interior Minister or Secretary of State, then it used to be called, the IGP and his deputy, paid a visit to the college, and an emergency meeting was convened at the Gambia College.
Tell us about what was discussed during that meeting.
Well, we did not find that meeting to be a way of interacting, dialogue meeting precisely, but rather a threatening position that they have taken, that authorities will not take any such from the students, and whoever acted in such a manner again will be dealt with. But as student leaders, we also took our stand that we are determined to see that justice in this case is done.
The statements of the authorities, did it appear to you as a declaration of policy as to how the state intended to deal with unauthorized student activity such as demonstrations?
That's my belief.
In a sense, can you tell us what that statement of policy included?
Well, that would tell me that the authorities are not trying to comply to see that justice is done, or rather try to shy away in the name of trying to see that the peace prevails or security of the country would not be compromised. That's our belief.
And what did you understand those statements to mean? But first, who made those statements?
The
That the
SOS,
security of this country would not be compromised.
the SOS Interior and the Inspector General of Police.
You mean two individuals?
Both of them spoke there.
And does it mean that both of them said the same thing?
Yeah, they repeated.
Who initially said it?
The SOS was the leader.
What was his name?
He was Usman Baji.
What did he say precisely?
Precisely that the security of the country will not be compromised, and any student who demonstrate will be dealt with accordingly.
How about the IGP?
He also echoed similar statement.
Is he the same person you named previously as Rex King?
Yes.
What did the students understand the SOS and the IGP to mean when they said that the security of this country would not be compromised, any student who demonstrated would be dealt with? What did you understand that to mean?
Very, very threatening.
That is the effect.
Yes.
You were telling us that the effect was threatening.
Yes.
But what did you understand him to mean?
That is, they are not going to show interest in trying to pursue that justice is done, but rather whoever want to pursue with that will be confronted.
And did you leave that meeting happy with the outcome?
We were totally disappointed.
Did you do anything as a result of the outcome of that meeting?
Yes, as planned, we went ahead with the press conference and expressed our disappointment and frustration in totality surrounding the two cases.
And where was that meeting held?
I believe Canopy Youth Center.
And that press conference, what did you say in the press conference?
We briefed the public through the press about the circumstances surrounding the death of Ibrahima and the rape of Bintamani, and our frustration and disappointment regarding the commitment of the authorities towards our requests. And we emphasized and appealed for them to look into our demands and act accordingly. It was a kind of gentle reminder to them.
A crisis was in the looming. A crisis was in the making.
Certainly.
You saw from your meetings with the authorities, did you see any inclination on the part of the government to pursue those two cases?
We could not see any sign of the interest of the government, but we still, through that press conference, we still call for room for dialogue.
Did you say anything to the students during that press conference?
As usual, we always appeal to the student to remain calm, as we are confident that justice will be done.
Were there any subsequent meetings to this meeting with the SOS, IGP, and others at the college? Was there any subsequent meeting?
Yeah, this time I think it was not at the college.
The meeting with the IGP and the SOS and the college principal on the 24th, was there a subsequent meeting?
That was the one I narrated. I think it was after that meeting that we went for the press conference in the evening.
Yes, but after that meeting, was there a subsequent meeting?
There was one. At this time around, I said it was not at the college, but at the police headquarters.
Yes, tell us about it. When do you recall the date this meeting took place?
I could not recall the actual date of that meeting.
Could you situate it with another event?
It was after the press conference, but I could recall vividly that it happened the day when the head of state, the President of the Republic, was supposed to travel to Cuba.
Who was it at the time?
His Excellency President Yahya Jammeh.
Good.
To Havana.
To what?
To Havana, Cuba.
To Havana, Cuba. Good. And who was in attendance at that meeting?
The then Inspector General of Police and his deputy, and the...
We knew, you told us earlier that the IGP at the time was Mr. Rex King. Who was the deputy?
Sankumbaji.
And who else was present?
The chief fire officer, I could not recall his name, but the chief fire officer was present.
And who else?
The crime management coordinator, Landim Baji, alias Tatin Baji, and some other senior police officers who I could not recall their names.
And on the part of the student union leadership, who was present?
The president himself was present, and my humble self.
That would be Omar Diouf and Alaji Dabo?
Alhaji Dabo, and then I believe Alaji Kamara was there, and Aliu Khan, precisely.
Tell us about the meeting. What happened during that meeting?
The meeting was also another disappointing meeting, in the sense that the position of those security heads remained very negative towards our request. To a point, the chief fire officer had this to say: what is GAMSU? What can GAMSU do? Can GAMSU make a demand? Can GAMSU tell them what to do? This was seen to us as very provocative. We did not expect such comments from security chief of that caliber when we are in a crisis management situation. The Inspector General of Police also did not help the situation. At that point, in fact, he promptly ended the meeting when there was no breakthrough.
What did the IGP say, if you can recall?
I could not recall very well, but he too was not cooperative regarding in trying to find out an amicable solution to the problem. But all that they were trying to say is that GAMSU or the students, if they act, they are going to be dealt accordingly. The peace of the country would not be compromised. That's the language they always speak. And at one point he said he called off the meeting that he was supposed to go and see the president off when he was supposed to travel to Havana. We appeal that we continue with the meeting so that we can find solution to the problem, but we could not convince him. The meeting was called off.
In fact, you are telling us here that seeing off the president at the airport trumped continued discussion and finding solution to this national security problem that was looming.
We thought that was what was needed at that moment.
Listen to the question carefully. What I am suggesting to you is that by their conduct, did you have a sense that for these security officers, seeing the president off at the airport was more important to them than sitting with the student leadership and finding a solution to a looming national crisis?
Exactly. That is how we also perceive that they saw this seeing the president off was more important to them than the looming crisis that we are confronted with.
How did you feel by that?
Very much disappointed again on the side of state authorities of such caliber.
Among those authorities present, did any one of them say anything to suggest that they were looking for a solution instead of imposing their own will on the students?
Not actually, but after the meeting, 13 Baji, Landim Baji, called us to his office. He expressed his disappointment, the manner in which his IGP handled the meeting and ended the meeting. He also shared the same opinion that we should have continued with the meeting, even whereas he would miss seeing the president off. But he did not express that at the meeting, maybe because of seniority, but in his office, he did so. Other than him, no other person.
So you're suggesting that all those present at the meeting did not say anything that was helpful to finding a solution to the problem?
Not at all.
After that meeting, were any other meetings planned?
Yes, that was on the 7th, when there was no room for dialogue, and the deadline was on the 7th. We met and decided, yes, now we are going to show our grievance by way of peaceful but limited demonstration. From GT3I to Steen Corner. At Steen Corner, the open field, that's where we'll be gathered. Address, express our grievance. We believe through that our message will be heard and taken seriously.
Did you consider the possibility of obtaining a permit for that demonstration?
Yes, we did, and we communicated that to the secretary, but she said she did so, but she did not find any officer at the police, or found somebody who said it's a junior officer, but declined to receive the letter.
So you decided to proceed regardless?
She reported on the 9th. She reported on the 9th when we had our last meeting. I think before that last meeting, another event unfolded.
Well, we would take it, we would go on a short break, and when we resume, we will take it from there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Chairman Council. And thank you, Mr. Dabo, for your testimony. We will take a lunch break, 1 hour, and then come back at 2:30. Meeting is adjourned.